Well, I'm joined here in the studio by Armen Georgian from our International Affairs desk. Armen, Iran very much of the view that it will retaliate. It's threatening what it called severe retaliation following on from the death of Qasem Soleimani this morning. What form might that retaliation take?
Well, let's take Iraq first. You've had a reaction from Kataib Hezbollah, which is the pro-Iranian militia that was, of course, targeted by the US. And they have said that if a law to end the US military presence in Iraq is not voted, then on the first day after that law is not voted, they will attack every possible US target in Iraq. But you have to remember, Iran actually has multiple networks in Iraq. It has a much bigger presence than, for example, 10 years ago when the Mahdi army was creating problems for the United States, or more than 10 years ago, in fact. The Mahdi army is now going to be reactivated, according to the Shiite leader Muqtada al-Sadr. But that may in itself not be such a significant move, given the very wide networks that Iran has and that it's developed. So since the end of the Iraq war, if we can call it an end, Iran has really multiplied those networks and deepened its involvement. You've got to remember also, Tom, the leaked documents in October, which was widely reported on in the Western media, which showed just how Iran had infiltrated pretty much every aspect of life in Iraq, religious, political, and economic. So that's for Iraq. There are broader sort of repercussions as well, because, for example, there's been a senior Iranian official who said, if I were a Western citizen, I would leave the region. So the region, not just Iraq. So clearly Iran is thinking of possible ways of hitting back in Syria and elsewhere. And you've got to remember that the fault lines between American and Iranian interests actually stretch all the way from Afghanistan in the east to the Mediterranean coast in the west, with Lebanon and Israel passing through Iraq and Syria on the way, so to speak. So there's a very wide area in which there could be a conflict between the US and Iran, either conventional or asymmetrical.
Yeah, and as we've been hearing from our guests and our correspondents across the region during the course of this morning, today's attack didn't come out of nowhere, did it, Armen?
No, I mean, you've got to of course, the US and Iran came pretty close to war last summer over developments in the Gulf, but this seems to be the closest they've come to, because the killing of Soleimani is such a turning point. And if you think of the last 6 days, it's been an astonishing escalation. It was only 6 days ago that a US contractor was killed in Kirkuk in northern Iraq in a rocket strike. In response to that, the US struck Kataib Hezbollah in Iraq. In response to the US attacks on Kataib Hezbollah, crowds attacked the US embassy compound in Baghdad. In response to that, the US has now killed perhaps the most key Iranian figure in terms of Iran's foreign military and intelligence operations. When you think about going from the death of an American contractor to the killing of such a senior Iranian figure in just 6 days, that is an astonishing escalation when you think about it.
Okay, well, thank you very much indeed for your analysis. Armen Georgian from our International Affairs desk. Thank you.